This thing. Disney is losing their company town and their special tax status. Normally, when you get a special tax status to do development, it's temporary. It's temporary. But Florida had been so captured by Disney that they had this like permanent company town self-governance tax status. And now the chuds are taking it away. And I gotta say, good. Take it away. This is a kind of situation where you sit back and you laugh and you say, let them fight. Because Disney should not have a special tax status. You fucking lib dipshit. Hey, Fragioso77. Thanks for the 4 months. Yeah, it's pretty great. You can listen to the stream in audio only mode. So it's pretty awesome to be able to do that on mobile. So Disney will go after Desantis. We sit back, laugh at them, and enjoy it. No, Disney should have a special tax status. And I'm glad it's happening. Let the Republicans do a good thing. Now, they're doing the good thing for wrong reasons, but at least Disney will then be pissed at them fighting them. It's a win-win. It's honestly a win-win. Whoever wins, we win. Unless Disney caves and like stops supporting LGBT people and gets it back, that would be terrible. What's wrong with letting them pay for all the roads and sewage burns on the taxpayers now? Do you really think, wait a minute, do you really think that Disney is altruistically paying more taxes because they run their own town? I find this incredibly stupid to the point where I can't believe it's actually something that liberals are repeating, but raise taxes on Disney. All right, we're going to watch this. We're going to watch this stuff because it's incredible brain. This is how it's being framed by libs. Florida taxpayers could face $1 billion Disney debt bomb if its special district status is revoked. The Florida legislature on Thursday cleared a bill that would dissolve Disney's special improvement district effective 2023. If the special district is eliminated, Orange and Ocala counties would have to provide local services currently provided by the special district. Legislators and tax experts warn the bill creates an even larger potential problem for taxpayers in the form of bonds totaling more than $1 billion. Now, here's the thing. If you get the bonds, you get the assets.
Well, the Florida governor is one step away from stripping Disney of its special...
So your belief is, okay, if I get this straight, what the libs believe that what Ron DeSantis is doing, taking the special tax status away from Disney, is actually going to benefit them. That's the belief that's trying to be spread. So Ron DeSantis is really angry at these people, and so he's going to do something for their benefit. That's what I'm supposed to believe, is what I understand. Bonds are tax-free because they are municipal bonds, not corporate bonds. So that is a massive benefit for Disney that they're able to issue bonds that are municipal bonds as opposed to corporate bonds. That's a massive benefit for them.
Self-governing status. Lawmakers in the State House passed the bill today, sending it to the desk of the Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, he pushed for lawmakers to take up the bill, so we expect him to sign it. Now, it comes after Disney executives came out against a controversial state bill that bans classroom instruction on gender identity and sexual orientation from kindergarten through third grade. Republicans say stripping Disney of its special status will force the company to pay more in taxes. But some tax experts say it will saddle local counties with the bill for services like fire protection, EMS, utilities. They say it could also leave taxpayers with more than $1 billion in bond debt currently held by Disney's district.
This is incredible. The brainworms are so
raging
potent.
right now in California.
The brainworms are so fucking potent that people think that Disney has a special tax district. That it's bad. It's actually good that Disney has a special tax district. This is the liberalism that I'm fighting against. Holy fucking hell. Oh my God.
Controversial new law that limits discussion of sexual identity in public schools is escalating. Republican lawmakers are close to passing a measure to end a special tax district for Disney. Manuel Bajorquez is following this story and joins us now live from Orlando. Good morning, Manuel.
Good morning. Disney initially did not take an official stance, but once the governor signed that law and Disney employees protested, it sided against the Republican leadership. This week in a special session, those leaders vowed to take away Disney's special district.
When Disney World was still just an idea, the Disney family lobbied Florida officials to create a special improvement district governed by Disney and called Reedy Creek. it taxes itself.
Governed by Disney. A fucking feudalism. A fucking, what happened to democracy? Oh no, see, we don't have that. Disney governs itself. This is good, actually.
To provide roads, power, and some emergency services. That was 1967. This was the governor's call to lawmakers this week.
But they also will be considering termination of all special districts that were enacted in Florida prior to 1968.
The move comes after Disney publicly condemned Florida's parental rights and education law, which critics call Don't Say Gay, because it prohibits public school instruction on topics related to sexual orientation or gender identity in grades K through 3.
Is this retaliation?
No, I don't think so. But I think that when you kick the hornet's nest, I think sometimes issues rise up that you weren't aware of.
Republican State Representative Randy Fine co-sponsored the bill to strip Disney, the state's largest private employer, of self-governing status.
Disney's charter allows them to build a nuclear power plant. It allows them to build roads without having to follow Florida Department of Transportation standards. And these are not things that may make a lot of sense. Maybe they did 55 years ago, but they don't today.
Fine claims taxpayers won't end up footing the bill if Disney's status goes away. But some say local residents could still end up paying for it, while the district's $1 billion debt from bonds remains an open question.
It's kind of shocking that they would come after Disney for this.
Says Aubrey Jewett, a political science professor at the University of Central Florida.
If they do it to Disney, who's been so supportive of Republicans over the last 20 years and so important to Florida's economy.
Look how corrupt the system is, and it's so corrupted. Disney thought they had the Republican Party completely in their pocket. They could govern themselves. They didn't have to follow any regulations. Oh my God, can you see how bad it is? The Republicans are taking that away? No, actually I don't. I think it's fucking great. Good. Take it away. Now, why are they taking it away? Bad fucking reasons. So what? They're doing a good thing for bad reasons. I don't give a shit. Fuck it. Raise taxes on fucking Disney World. Disney is one of the biggest munitions purchasers, second to the U.S. military in the world. Fireworks. Okay, that's definitely not true. There's no no, that's definitely not true. They criticized the bad thing we did, so now we have to look into their tax status. Unrelated though. It's like this. Imagine you have a termite mound and a fire ant mound next to your house, and they start eating each other. You're like, good. But Mike, it's gonna kill the termites. Good. And even if Desantis signs it won't go into effect unless the district also agrees. Okay, then there's no threat. Here's Jenk's take. Oh God.
Florida's state
All right, let's finish this. Oh, we did.
legislature, which is dominated by Republicans, has just passed legislation that would retaliate against Disney for having the audacity to condemn the state law that's known as the Don't Say Gay bill. Now, if you guys
obviously why they're doing it is disgusting and terrible. Like, obviously the Republicans are vile pieces of bigots and pieces of shit. I mean, like, clearly. But just because they're doing something for a bad reason doesn't mean it's actually bad. Is it good that Disney has its own government that it can borrow money on and enrich itself using government power? No, that's terrible.
You guys can recall the employees over at Disney, there are tens of thousands of them, demanded that their employer condemn that law. And finally, Disney took a stance and decided to do so, and even put out a statement indicating that they would stop donating campaign money.
It's like the Azov Battalion and Wagner Group killing each other? Yes, that's exactly what it's like. Always wrecked and grumpy Felicity. Thank you for the subscriptions.
2 politicians in the state who voted in favor of that legislation. They also said that they would help fund efforts to repeal the law. Well, in response to that, the Republican lawmakers in the state, under the leadership of Governor Ron DeSantis, decided to pass legislation that would potentially hurt them financially. And I want to give you the details on that, but it might have some unintended consequences for these Republican lawmakers. The bill would eliminate the Reedy Creek Improvement District, as the Disney government is known, as well as a handful.
Relevant tweet. As a leftist, I can't believe how owned I am that Republicans in Florida stripped a massive corporation of some of its financial power. You guys really got me. I really hope you don't hurt me more by repealing copyright laws Disney supports. Oh man, I would be so angry then. Exactly.
Handful of other similar districts by June of 2023. So let's pause for a second. Basically,
in the US, but not
decades
in the
ago,
world.
when Disney World was getting started in Central Florida, they were given these special privileges where they were able to govern on the land that they were building on. So it's like a mini government with Disney being able to govern that area. And so what the Republican lawmakers
That's fucking terrible. A corporation should not have government power. Own the land, sure. Develop the land, whatever. But govern the land? Are you fucking kidding me? Working home PA. Thank you for the 14 months.
are doing
Did I watch the debate?
as
No.
retaliation for Disney speaking out for once is essentially dissolving them of that privilege. And this has already passed in the State House and Senate. Let me continue. The measure leaves room for the districts to be reestablished, with the Republican legislative leader signaling a likely restructuring of a 1967 deal that lawmakers struck with the company that allows it to provide services such as zoning, fire protection, utilities, and infrastructure. Now, again, this is all meant to happen as a result of these lawmakers wanting to retaliate against Disney. So typically, I mean, I don't like corporations having all these special privileges. I'm against that. But I'm also against what triggered this legislation in the first place. It's not because of the fact that Disney underpays its employees or has working conditions that aren't favorable to the employees. It's only because of the fact that Disney dare to threaten these Republican lawmakers with campaign money. That's all it's about at the end of the day. But let me give you more. The proposal would have huge tax implications for Disney. Don't care about that at all.
Disney is trash, but 25% property tax. They'll just tax Disney. They'll value their fucking resort as to whatever it is, and then say you owe property taxes on the resort, and Disney would pay more money to them. What do you think? That Disney World is not gonna have to pay property taxes on their own shit? That's the whole point. What?
Whose series of theme parks have over the decades transformed Orlando into one of the world's most popular tourist destinations. The Democrats have warned that the move could cause local homeowners to get hit with big tax bills if they have to
Made up bullshit.
Absorb bond debt.
Sorry, but when Democrats make shit up, they're making it up. I don't know what to
from
say.
Disney, although such details are far.
Will they though? You think Republicans would be pro-tax? They're trying to hurt Disney. They're trying to hurt Disney. They're not getting rid of Disney's special tax district to lower their taxes. They're doing it so that they would have to pay taxes like every other corporation, which would mean that their tax rate would go up and they would have to pay more. It would no longer have the special taxing authority of being a government. See, a corporation takes your money when you give them money for goods and services. A government takes your money through taxes. So when Disney, a corporation, had the power to take money through taxes, they could use that for their benefit. Also, the fact that they controlled a municipality gave them access to much cheaper bonds that paid lower interest rates because they were tax-free municipal bonds. That is a massive advantage for that company compared to other companies doing the same exact shit. When they lose the special taxing district, all of that property would then be folded within the county's property tax system. All it would take is some sort of direction to value the Disney properties, probably according to what they say in their investor reports. And then you tax, say the property of Disney World is worth $10 billion. That would be a massive tax bill for them. And it would more than pay for whatever the bond is, as long as Disney's property was taxed, which is supposed to be the plan of getting rid of their tax district, which is why Disney is supposed to be mad about it. If the plan is let's get rid of their tax district to cut their taxes and make other people pay for shit, that would be a pretty bad way to put pressure on Disney. It is pretty clear that the Republicans, hey, I don't like them, but that they're going to use the government against their political enemies and not accidentally help their political enemy. They're targeting Disney, remember, because Disney came out against the Don't Say Gay bill. I don't know why this is like... I think because the Democrats blatantly lied to try to make people want to protect Disney's special tax district. Florida banned a book because it said bike race. What are the chances Republicans agree not to tax the property exchange for restarting donations from Disney and just take the publicity win? That would be quite bad.
Clear. I actually want to elaborate on that more, because that is, in my opinion, the juiciest part of the story, okay? The most delicious potential part of the story. And I know you want to jump in, Cenk, but can I give the details first, please?
No, tease him. Okay.
All right, fine.
Okay. No, seriously, guys, I'm just going to make one quick point, and then I want to get to that too. I want you to notice that Ron DeSantis and the Florida Republicans did not take this action when Disney said they were against the Don't Say Gay bill, okay? They only took the action, as Anna pointed out, after Disney said, we're not giving you money anymore.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay. So that's what motivated them. And this is DeSantis literally saying, how dare you not send my bribe? In return, the government, big government, will retaliate against this private company because you're no longer bribing me and my capos.
Why is this a surprise? That's the deal. You bribe the politician, you get the benefits. You don't bribe the politician, you don't get the benefits. If anything, what this shows me is that the Republican Party is highly disciplined. That's actually pretty impressive to me, that the moment that the the Republicans are not getting money from Disney, they can immediately pivot with almost no dissenters to target that business for retaliation. I wish that we had 5% that discipline in the Democratic Party. Can you imagine the moment a Democratic politician didn't support the PRO Act for unions? We massively pivoted on them and they got the reign of God on them. Can you imagine? This just shows me how much of a better political party the Republicans are at accomplishing goals and accomplishing things and exercising power, which is a very bad thing, by the way. I'm very concerned that they're that much better than the Democrats are at it. Disney only came out against the bill after it was passed. It kind of feels like Disney and DeSantis are working together to offload Disney's debt onto some taxpayers and distract from the racist redistricting maps. Might be too conspiratorial, but this wouldn't go into effect until after the election. He's not saying it's a surprise. He's saying it shows the Republicans are hypocritical about big government. Wait, did anyone think they weren't? Was there a single person, including a Republican, who thinks that Republicans are not hypocrites about big government? This is the thing that made you notice? They've been hypocrites every fucking goddamn day on everything, all the time. Who gives a shit? Imagine if after we learned that Manchin was funded by Exxon, the Democrats in the House targeted Exxon. That exactly is what I'm talking about. I would orgasm. I would worship Nancy Pelosi if that happened. But it will never happen because they're not a political party. The Republicans, as much as I hate them, are at least a political party.
Captains here in my mafia. That's how, Republicans, you hate government corruption and big government. Well, who do you think corrupts them?
They do?
Okay, it's the people giving the campaign donations, especially corporations.
Nobody cares. At this point, no Republican cares about government corruption. They care about their enemies getting squished. All that Trump has to do is go and say he's owning the libs. All Ron DeSantis has to do is go and say he's owning the libs. That's the only thing they care about. Everything else is expendable, including their own lives, which you should have learned after COVID-19. They refused to wear masks and they died in droves. They refused to get a safe, efficacious vaccine because it would own the libs, because the libs wanted them to. They have no values. They don't care about this. They care about owning the libs, and this is owning the libs to them. Mr. Fancy Pants, thanks for the 22 months. Once you understand that, once you get it, then you understand what the Republicans are doing.
That do it for profit. So this is an excellent example of corruption. If you hate corruption, you should hate what DeSantis did here. Go ahead, Ann.
Oh, well.
So
if you hated corruption, you were a big Ron DeSantis fan right up until now. The Republican Party, just to give you an idea of how pathetic this is, Rick Scott, the senator from Florida, was had a company that was convicted of the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history. I think it was $1.7 billion stolen from Medicare while he was CEO. And he's now the senator from Florida. Do you think Republicans care about corruption? Rick Scott, one of the biggest criminals in American history, is a United States senator. And by the way, you know who also doesn't care about fraud and corruption? The Democrats. Otherwise, Rick Scott would be in prison. Give me a break. The Speaker of the House in Ohio, convicted of defrauding state of billions with First Energy, was reelected in a landslide. Exactly. Why is it so bad to highlight it? Why are you mad at people highlighting corruption? It's not that I'm mad at them for highlighting it. It's mad at, I just think it's comical to be like, ooh, Ron DeSantis is actually corrupt. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's gonna do it.
Look, I think the Democrats in the state should let them have it. Do you, booze? But there are Democrats who are actually concerned about the residents in this area who could suffer from massive, massive tax increases if they actually do go through with this, if Ron DeSantis
I think what I'm trying to say, just so everyone's not confused, is that there's more than enough evidence of the blatant corruption, the blatant treason, the blatant damage that the Republican Party does in so many aspects of our life, that if you're not already convinced that we should be using any means necessary to suppress this party, then there's nothing going to convince you. And the Democrats, I don't know if you noticed, love Republicans. You can't get Nancy Pelosi to talk for 5 minutes without her saying how much she loves the Republican Party. So this is nothing new. What I want is action. I would like to see some goddamn action.
Actually signs this into law, which he likely will. Now, state Senate minority...
You're past pointing out issues of decorum and ethics. The fascists are nearly here now. I think that's the most pithy way of saying what I'm trying to say.
Leader Gary Farmer, a Democrat, warned that residents of Orange and Osceola counties may have to assume Disney's liabilities of anywhere between $1 billion and $2 billion if the Reedy Creek Improvement District is dissolved. In fact, he's quoted as saying, the debt service alone for Reedy Creek is over $1 billion. This bill makes no provision as to how that debt service is going to be assumed. The debt service alone would amount to $580 per person.
Now, obviously, this is a brain dead talking point, obviously. It's $580 per person in a county that has a massive international tourist attraction amusement park. Yeah, you would have to assess that park and make them pay their fair share of taxes in the park in order for it to not be a massive tax increase for, assuming Disney doesn't pay any more property taxes, it would cost everybody else $580. Well, no shit. You're not going to do that. The whole purpose of this is to raise taxes on Disney. If they don't do that, well, then that will be a tax break to Disney.
In added taxes, they would be liable for. Let them do it, Farmer. Let them do it. Okay. Yeah. Farmer wrong. Let him do it, because I want nothing more than the Republican lawmakers in that state to suffer the consequences of the gross retaliatory action that they're taking here. Again, not because of all the other things that we've criticized Disney about, but because Disney actually stood by its workers for once in condemning this bill and threatened to take away campaign donations from these lawmakers. I want to give you more, though. In total, Farmer does warn that a family of 4 in the area could be hit with a $2,200 tax bill. Also, State Senator Jeff Brandes, a Republican, also expressed...
This is why we need to keep our special tax district where a corporation governs itself, because, chat, that's what we should do to lower your taxes, which is obviously just a ridiculous lie. Yeah, we give Disney the ability to govern itself and exempt itself from most state laws because it's good for you. You have to be brain dead to believe this.
Worries over Disney's liabilities, saying, my concern is this bill essentially wipes away Disney's $2 billion in debt, adding, if the legislative intent here is to ultimately attack them, then why would we want to cancel $2 billion of debt? And he mentions that because there's an idea that maybe we just cancel the debt so the residents in the area don't get hit with these tax bills. But if you do that, Disney might just say, thanks for doing away with that $2 billion in debt. We appreciate it.
No, DeSantis might have really screwed up here.
I love it.
For a number of reasons.
It's so good.
Number one, it turns out this is the one special privilege that corporations have in America that actually costs them more money than it saves them. And you
can't possibly believe that. You can't possibly believe that. There's no way your brain is like that. There's no fucking way you can possibly believe that. The governing of themselves costs them more money. There's no fucking way you can think that. There's no fucking way.
I don't know why. It was passed back in 1967 So back then, the companies and government used to actually be different entities, and they would negotiate back and forth. And apparently Disney didn't strike a very good deal. I remember the first article I read, I was like, wait, how is DeSantis helping them? Disney in this case appears to be paying for the fire department, garbage pickup, almost everything in this area, right? And so I'm like, how would this?
So this is the lib brain. This is neoliberalism in a nutshell. Basically, the belief that the corporation is altruistically paying for its own government, lobbying to keep this its own government, having the ability to levy taxes on that area, and it actually costs them more money to do that, and they're altruistically doing that. Disney is altruistically paying more for things. Actually, that's wrong, and almost certainly you could collect more taxes from Disney World, and government is more efficient at providing those services than Disney would be. This is incredible. Incredible brains on everyone.
This punished Disney, and then I read more, and I was like, oh no, it doesn't punish Disney. Disney had struck a terrible deal back in 1967. They might be like, yeah, great. The $2 billion is literally what Disney owes. If you cancel it, you just gave Disney a $2 billion gift. How in the world does that punish them, you moron? Now, the reason DeSantis is doing it is he is genuinely mad at Disney. It's not a lot of times politicians say, oh, I am so mad at corporations, and then give them billions of dollars. Not in this case. In this case, he's trying to do a marketing gimmick where he's like, oh, I am tough against Disney because they don't hate gay people. I hate gay people. And I can't believe Disney doesn't, right? But it's backfiring on him.
Yeah, let me give you his statement, because this is, look, at the end of the day, this is all about political power. This is about campaigning. Ron DeSantis, without a doubt, is eyeing a presidential run. If it's not in 2024, it'll be in a presidential election following that. In response to all of this, well, in a campaign fundraising email, he said this: if Disney wants to pick a fight, they choose the wrong guy, or they chose the wrong guy. As governor, I was elected to put the people of Florida first, and I will not allow a woke corporation based in California to run our state. Go through with it, Ron.
Seems good.
Go through with it. I would love to see it. Because again, either the people in that area are gonna pay increased taxes, and who do you think they're gonna blame? You think they're gonna blame Disney for the increase in taxes? You think they're gonna blame Democrats for the increase in taxes? Or are they gonna blame the political party that's in charge in the...
Okay. Celebration is a census-designed place and master plan community. Originally developed by Walt Disney, the town, whose population was 7,427, is part of the Orlando-Kissimmee Metropolitan Statistical Area. Walt Disney World operates 2 utility companies, Smart City Telecom and Reedy Creek Energy Services, that provide services to the town. The town itself is connected to the Walt Disney World resorts via one of its primary streets, World Drive, which begins near the Magic Kingdom. So they own utility companies as well. The area is organized under state law as a community development district. As a result, voting is restricted to local landowners. The largest landowners are entities controlled by the Walt Disney Company. Incredible. Voting is restricted to local landowners. Incredible. Theory behind CDDs holds that services and public facilities used by residents and landowners will be available early in the development process and are controlled by those who use them and are paid for by self-imposed assessments and fees. Because the CDD is controlled by the landowners/residents, the decision of what services are offered and what facilities are constructed is up to the landowners/residents, not the developer. The cost of capital for CDDs is lower than that of the developer, saving money. Services can be bid out to private companies or provided by the CDD, and residents are not at the mercy of developer-owned enterprises. The CDD is controlled by a board of supervisors elected by landowners of the district. What the fuck is this? This is so weird. I've never seen this. This is like America in 1780 or some shit. What the fuck? The CDD is a legal entity that has the power to right to enter into contracts to own both real and personal property, adopt the bylaws, rules, and regulation and orders, to sue and be sued, obtain funds by borrowing, issue bonds, and impose assessments and levy taxes on property? Wow, this is incredible. The CDD framework in the first 6 years allows developers to control the decision-making process because they are a primary property owner, and one vote is allocated for each acre owned in the district. Developer can elect supervisors who are their employees, associates, or friends, who can then make decisions for the benefit of the developer. Until the residents own property greater than 33% of total votes, they may not have a single representative on the BOS. Only when the residents own property greater than 50% of total votes will they have an opportunity to outvote the supervisors chosen by the developer. While the developer controls the BOS, the developer may direct the board to purchase the common property from the developer at values determined by special appraisers who use an income approach appraisal method, which tends to give higher valuations than a cost approach. The district manager hired by the BOS may administrate for the interest of the developer rather than the residents. Wow, this is fucking psychotic. Florida has all sorts. This is like anti-democratic. This is like some sort of weird feudalism. What the hell is this? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? This is batshit crazy. This is batshit crazy. I can't believe this is real. Developers control the government? And then you can only vote if you own land? What the fuck is this? All right.
State of Florida. I'm just going to say, family of four getting hit with a $2,200 tax bill, they're not going to take kindly to that, especially considering the cost of living in Florida has gone up so significantly during the pandemic because of private equity money flooding in and snatching up real estate in the area. So have at it. Do it. I'd love to see it. Let's see what the outcome will be.
So first, let me give credit to the Democratic senators in Florida because
in Honduras, we have that where the whole areas of land are owned completely by cartels, corporations, and rich fucks. A U.S. senator brought land in one. No, I mean, that absolutely sounds like a fruit company made that up. Like United Fruit Company, it's in Guatemala or some shit. This is batshit.
they have no power, so it's not like they can actually stop DeSantis from doing this. The Republicans have both houses and the governor seat. So what they're doing is they're doing good messaging. They're saying, hey, it is the Republicans and DeSantis that is about to cost every family in this area $2,200. And that is
except then when that doesn't happen, the Democrats look fucking stupid. And the Republicans look like they're fighting a major corporation, and the Democrats are bootlicking a corporation that didn't even give them. But here, the pathetic thing is, the Democrats aren't even getting propped up by Disney. It's not like Disney's flipping their money over to the Democrats. The Democrats are just pathetic bootlickers for free. I'm sorry, but this is opposite. I hard disagree with TYT on this one. They're just accepting what the Democrats are saying at face value.
It's true. It's both true and effective messaging. So they're doing a pretty good job with it, actually. Now, when it comes to DeSantis, look, like I said, and I've talked a lot about this, basically big government and big business merged in 1978 when the Supreme Court made the decision that corporations can give money to politicians. And from then on, every deal has been in favor of big business and against the average American. I mean, the Republicans talk about America first. No, they're corporations first. America's almost last, right? So that's why all of the current deals are, they take your taxpayer money and they shovel it to their corporate donors. The donors give them $1 million, they give back $1 billion, 10 billion, sometimes even all the way up to $1 trillion, yes, combined, right? So that's how the bribery normally works. Now, they're breaking that pledge here, the Republicans, and they're canceling that deal. Now, it's an old deal, so it winds up helping Disney to cancel it. But I wanted to mention one other thing. It's a point made again by one of our members, another really smart point. Pilates Progressive said, if anyone on the left punished a corporation this way, it would immediately be deemed cancel culture by the right. Mm-hmm. The hypocrisy has become their defining trait.
Totally.
First of all, I love our members. We do the show together, tyt.com/join to become a member.
The reason why there's a $2 billion thing is because it's their made up government that Disney totally controls, borrowed the money to improve Disney's property. So the Republicans are saying you don't get to have a special district where you borrow money as a government entity and you control your own government anymore. And the Dems are like, oh my God, they're helping Disney. And it's like Disney was able to borrow money as a pseudo government at extremely low rates. And you think that by dissolving that, you're actually hurting Disney? Incredible brain. Incredible brain.
Member, so I could read your comments in the stories, okay? Second of all, think about that.
Disney gave Dems a lot of money. True.
That if a Democrat
at the national level,
I'm going to punish a company, and on top of that, they said it's because they won't give
Disney
me campaign.
Disney had the advantage of building their resort by themselves, and now they can offload their tax burden onto us. The dissolution of the RCID should also include a measure to tax Disney appropriately. Of course.
contributions anymore.
Then it's not a punishment.
My God, that's all Joe Rogan and Bill Maher, let alone every right-wing media outlet, would talk about for a month. Oh, can you believe the Democrats cancel culture? They canceled Disney. Oh my God, right?
Oh yeah, that would be true.
Yet the Republicans do it, and none of their voters even realize it. They're like, oh yeah, that's right. I can't believe Disney stopped bribing DeSantis.
They don't mind
Poor
being
DeSantis.
Oh, they love it. They're like, look how strong he is against corporations, and people in the middle are like, wow, the Republicans are taking on a major corporation based. People hate corporations. If you, in Minecraft, took a CEO of a major corporation into the town square, people would tar and feather that person spontaneously. If you're like, that guy's the head of CEO, tar and feather him. People would run out of buildings to do it. There'd be people fucking running. They'd be like, I can't wait for the elevator. They'd be jumping in the fire escape to run down and help.
No, they don't mind being hypocrites. I mean, it's been pointed out how hypocritical the Republican Party is over and over again, and they love it. They'll claim that they love democracy. They want to protect American democracy, support the troops that have preserved American democracy while they're trying to
Luna,
reverse.
This is not just a tiff. This is they can actually govern themselves as a local. Like, they don't have a local government. They have a county government, but they are the local government, and the vote is based on how much land you own. It's batshit.
The will of the American people in the 2020 presidential election. They're hypocrites. They love being hypocrites. At the end of the day, the only thing they understand, and they understand it well, is power. And honestly, Democrats, it would serve them well if they took some time to understand that as well.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to...
Okay. I just think that, yeah, the Don't Say Gay bill is bad. Governmental control over the land. Not they own the land. You don't see, when you buy land, you don't have government control over the land. Ultimately, you are still underneath the government. And what Disney successfully did was remove local government over them and then become the local government. That's really bad. They were also freed from, quote, dealing with legal red tape or paying taxes for services that benefited the broader public. See that? Do you see that? Yeah, that's bad. They should have to pay for the red tape. Red tape is like, make sure you build the sewer system so it doesn't leak into the environment. Red tape is like, hey, build those roads so that don't cause subsidence, or they have the proper slope so that there isn't standing water and hydroplaning, or they don't fucking collapse, or they actually are designed for people not to swerve off of them. Yeah, the legal red tape is don't exterminate an endangered species. Yeah, those are what's known as good things. And paying taxes to benefit the broader public, that's called a good thing. Disney previously had issues with the government of Anaheim, California at its Disneyland park. Those issues in mind, Disney pushed for a special purpose district in Florida that would give the company the ability to self-govern. The result is an example of how a working partnership between business and government can be prosperous for both sides. Yeah. Absolutely terrible. Disney has Vatican City status, pretty much.